names are almost always so spontaneous, and I don't always even particularly like the names, but they just stick, and I have to get used to them. And if I ever have to change a character's name, it's really hard to get used to that because it always seems to make them into a slightly different character if I don't like those names.
Yeah, I mean, names are really, really important because they do end up defining a character in a lot of ways. And I spend a lot of time thinking about what to name. It's probably one of the hardest things about writing for me. But one of the ways that I get past that is I actually steal people's names on a fairly regular basis. And I've always had a little notebook of names that I thought were really, really interesting. And not that long ago, I was in a cab. I live in New York, and I was in a cab with a female cab driver, which is like the rarest thing on earth. You never see a female cab driver. And she was kind of awesome. I looked up at her name, and her name was Bellatrix. That is like a villain name. And she would wear Lee press-on nails and raise chinchillas. But I'll also, like, if I'm watching the credits on a movie, I'm one of the people who will actually sit in the audience and read the credits because I really admire their work, but also because I'm stealing their names.
Names are really important to me, and I have to spend a lot of time on them because if I don't have the right name for a character, I actually can't write about them. When I was little, my mom showed me the book that she and my dad used to pick our names, my brother and I's names, and it was this book that was published in the 70s called Name Your Baby. And I took it and became absolutely obsessed because it was just this book full of names and their origin and their meaning. And you could see my little 8-year-old self, what names I really liked because I like circled them. But apparently when I was 8, I really liked the name Majesta. I do not think that would make it into it. But the meaning of the name is really important to me. All the names have significance. In the world of Nightshade, the Nightshade pack are all names of English origin. So that's where the pack originates. And the Bane pack is all French names.
Cool. That's what I thought.
For the futuristic names, took names that we already had kind of listed a little bit, like Vitria was from Victoria and things like that. But I'm not as clever as y'all.
Whatever, it looks insane. For my contemporary novels, I just used contemporary names that I liked. But it was a little bit harder with the society match because I felt like they would have different names, but they would not be that different. Like just maybe a little more classical or a little more unusual or very general, like a variation on the names we have now. So I put a lot of thought into the names and match, but they're all still real names. That makes sense.
Are there any like, family members or anything that's shown in books?
I always do that. Like, I have a niece, 10-year-old niece in London, who is going to die when she sees the third Future Strike because I managed to work her name into the book. And I have a daughter's name in the sequel to The Eternal Ones. I love to do that just because, you know, I love giving the people I know
I was a former teacher, and I wrote across the universe in my last year of teaching, and whenever I had a kid, you're really good. Yeah. And they thought it was really cool, and now they're all competing to see who gets to die next.